Oh, go woke, go broke is not what we're going to be saying today, because I'm going to shock you all and probably some won't be happy, others won't be happy. No one's going to be happy with this video. I saw this news about the Harley Quinn show, the cartoon series, which is supposedly R-rated, which I think is fantastic. I saw the news that it's going to be addressing the Joker-Harley Quinn relationship, and loads of people are losing their mind about it, going, it's the Me Too movement, we're going woke, we're getting broke, blah, blah, blah. I actually think this is great. And let me explain, before everyone, you know, on either side, those that are massively, bizarrely leftist and just hate me anyway and still watch my videos, before you just hate me because you think I'm doubling back on my standards, and the people on the right that just want me to be outraged before you all hate me, let me just explain. So, Harley Quinn, let's read the articles first, and then I'll get into my point of view on it as we go through some key points. Okay, so this is on GameSpot. Now, I don't necessarily think that their take is particularly the best, but let's break it down. So it says, as long as the character of Harley Quinn has been around, there's been a discussion among Batman fans about her relationship with the Joker, which is incredibly abusive. Which, yeah, it is. If anyone doesn't know, Harley Quinn was created in the cartoon, Batman the Animated Series. In fact, it was, as far as I'm aware, it's the only comic book character that wasn't created in the comic book. They may have changed it now, there may have been others, but that's like the first. It was crazy. Because she was so well loved. Absolutely well loved. So realistically, like, her character has not been around that long. It's been around only since Batman the Animated Series. Now, it says it was revealed in the 1994 comic, the Batman Adventures Mad Love, that Harley was a former psychiatrist that fell in love with the Clown Prince of Crime, even though he regularly insulted and demeaned her and held very little regard for her life. That is actually a thing. People do that. A lot of women love men that they try to change and grow and try to make better. It's why there's so many convicted murderers, you know, really nasty, nasty people that have a strew of women lining up at their prison cell. Again, that's just a fact. Go and look it up. So I actually like the fact that they included something like this in, you know, in the cartoon and in the comic, because it's a legitimate thing. I think there's precedent for it. Now it says that's an aspect of Harley's history that was largely ignored in 2016's Suicide Squad, which saw Margot Robbie play the character. However, the upcoming DC Universe Harley Quinn animated series, in which Kaylee Cuoco, or Quacko, voices the character, won't be shying away from it. Speaking at the TCA press tour, executive producer Justin Halpern explained, that is something we felt we needed to address in the show. Now this is where everyone's going to go, like literally everyone. Everyone on the left is going to be like, yeah, this is great. Everyone on the right is going to go, it's the Me Too movement, get woke, go broke. Just calm your tits. Okay, just calm your tits. So it says, instead, Harley Quinn will deal with the horrible nature of the relationship as Harley removes herself from it in a bid to strike out on her own as a criminal kingpin. Now, it says it's explored in the first episode of the series, which was screened at San Diego Comic-Con, but the aftermath of the breakup will seemingly reverberate throughout future episodes of the series. So, let's just analyse it from a narrative perspective. Okay, first episode, Harley Quinn and Joker break up. Bang. Done. So everyone that's like, it's going to be a breakup story and blah, 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 blah. No. They break up, and then there'll be threads from that narrative which is pulled throughout the entire series. Which makes sense. That's quite a good way of doing it. It's also not too in your face. And it makes sense as well, because then you've got someone struggling, dealing with, again, everyone's going to be like, yeah, but it's going way too over here or way too over there, blah, 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 blah. I really do disagree. I really do disagree, because Harley Quinn, even in the animated series and the comics, has always had this love-hate relationship with Joker. And it was explored in comics that she, left the Joker. She's even been with Poison Ivy in a relationship and all this kind of stuff. And from a character that was created in a cartoon that was then put over into the comic, it's a bit different to, say, an established character just being swapped out. Because I know there'll be all these people that have said, well, you're swapping out your standards now. I'm not. It's a bit different. This character is established to have this love-hate relationship with the Joker. So it's only natural that this would progress. You're not swapping the character out to be something that she's not. She's always had this kind of Stockholm Syndrome abusive relationship. She's always had it. So it's natural, especially as they've already explored it in the comics, that this was her character arc, that this would happen. And again, a lot of people will say, yeah, but Mr. H, you don't like the whole female Thor situation. So, again, somewhat different. You're riding off of someone's name. Harley Quinn's not Harley Joker. Okay, again, a little bit different. And also, you're dealing with a character that's actually only been around for very little years. Relatively new to the comic scene, in fact. So her character arcs have been happening at the same rate most comic book characters have. But, you're seeing it progress a little bit more quickly with the times as a result of that. And probably seems a little bit more jarring. But it's not. It's actually moving, in normal succession of comic book characters. Now it says, the idea was that we've all been in relationships with someone we felt maybe wasn't right for us, all the way to someone who was toxic for us. How you extricate yourself from that is really what this show is about. How you get out of that kind of relationship and figure out, what am I going to do now that I'm out of it? What do I want? I've been living somebody else's life for a really long time. Now let's just read between the lines. He's not saying this show is about a breakup. He's not at all. He's saying that that's part of it and it's pushing the narrative forward. But the narrative ultimately is, how can Harley Quinn become this ultimate badass criminal by herself? There's nothing going woke about that. There's nothing overly Me Too about that. I don't see an issue with this remotely. I actually think that that's common sense. I think that makes sense for the character. I think it's very much in line with her origin. I think it's... yeah, I think that's bang on. Now, again, it says, it should also be noted that Harley Quinn is a very violent and vulgar animated series with blood flying as freely as the foul language. So again, for people that are like, oh, they're dumbing it down, they're doing it this, doing it that. No, it's still very much a hard R. Like, very much a hard R. And then Deadline says the same thing as well. Let's just see. Yeah, okay. So Deadline, again, covers this and says... we do have our own rules on the show, executive producer Patrick Schumacher said on Tuesday at day one of TCA Summer Press Tour. From the get-go, the pitch was this show is from Harley's perspective. So it says, so on one hand, Gotham is going to be a lot brighter and more technicolor because she's, batshit crazy. And because this is through her eyes, also, the way that we portray the heroes who are usually lionized in the films, we can have fun with them. Like Batman is a real buzzkill and Superman tells dad jokes. So again, everyone that's losing their mind going, this is terrible. Rah, it's a love story. Calm down. Just calm down. It's not that at all. It's really not that. Now it says... the idea is that we've all been in relationships with someone, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so that's fine. We've read that. She goes through growth, but it's like a few steps forward and 25 steps back. So, again, people that are losing their mind about this, just calm down. This is from the actress that's playing her, saying that she goes through some growth, which is she leaves the relationship, but she takes 25 steps back and falls down into being an absolute criminal badass. So it's very much in line with her character. She has left the Joker numerous times. Numerous times throughout the comics. For a very long time she's been doing this. She falls back in her old ways and again can't really help it. With the assistance of some fellow villainous colleagues like Poison Ivy, she's learning what real friendships are. These friends are more of her family than her real family, which we find out later in the series. Which again, people are going to go, oh, it's about friendship. Yeah, but they're all murderous villains. I mean, that's a fun spin on it. You know, that's a fun spin on friendships and relationships. They are murderous villains. So you're seeing it through their eyes. They're not dumbing it down. They're still going to kill people. Blood's still going to be everywhere. They can still be dropping F-bombs left, right, and centre. I think this sounds great. I think it's really in line with the narrative, in my eyes. So all these videos that have been going, oh, Harley Quinn's going woke and all this kind of stuff, I completely disagree with those takes. I respect those takes. I disagree with them completely. I think if anyone's familiar with the animated series, Batman, the animated series, and even Batman Beyond, for instance, I really do, I think, because again, long-time animated DC fans will know, Harley Quinn, Batman Beyond, there's precedent for it. I think this is in line with narrative. It says the nice thing is that most of the time she's going up against villains who are worse than her. So you root for her in that way. She's a killer. Again, she's a killer. It's not going to be prissy pants sitting down with tea. She is a killer. Those who are dying in her hands deserve it. She fights Robin, voiced by Jacob Tremblay. That's an interesting casting. In the show, because he's a real kid. He's tiny. In the show, but she's never going to kill Robin. Interesting. Again, she's not... She is a murderer in the comics and in the animated series, but she also has a conscience. And again, people will go, oh, they're dumbing it down. No. Get familiar with your source material. It's not the case. So, look. Harley Quinn will debut on DC Universe this fall, which will probably just move over to Warner Bros. Streaming service. I actually really like this. I disagree with all of the takes. I respect them, but I disagree with all the takes that are like, go woke, go broke. No, I just think this is really in line with the comic, the animated series. I think unfortunately, what people don't understand is that she was created in the animated series. So her story arcs are happening much in the same way as they would. But because we are now in a climate which is moving forwards with these sorts of narratives anyway, they are able to move this character along with the times at a more free pace. Whereas with other characters, you're seeing 30 years of back history now being brought forward, which can be very, very jarring. And I think that's where the difference is. And I think ultimately, a character that's been established on an animated series, which was never created by anyone in particular. I mean, obviously there are creations, I know. But then was then expanded upon in the comics and put over into canon proper. I think you do have a little bit more free reign with, but this isn't even free reign. This is well in line with what's already established. So everyone losing their mind about this, calm down. I know loads of people are going to dislike this video because apparently the left and the right just completely lack all common sense. Absolutely. And, doesn't want to reason with anyone, left, right, or centre. So, but here you go. That's my take. What do you think? I'd love to hear it. Let me know down below in the comment section. If you are new here, make sure you hit subscribe. Make sure you smash that bell notification icon. I know audio's been all over the place. I know video's been all over the place. Everything should be rectified now. I have a new setup. That's why it was so bad for so long. It should be bang on the money. If it's not, I can only apologise and I can only say that it will be better moving forwards. Also, for those that care about what setup I have, I am going to be doing a behind the scenes video on that because I think some people will be interested. I have been asked this before, how do I record stuff, what goes on behind the scenes, and also I'll introduce you to my dog. So anyway, if you want to support the channel, I've got Patreon links down below. There's also a PayPal. It's just mistakesreviews@gmail.com. And also there's merchandise, Teespring store underneath these videos. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you very much for leaving a like and a share. I've been Mr. H. Take care.